Hello beautiful souls. This is an SVG file of a mailbox that Ida from Created to Create had created. Created to Create has created. That has a nice ring. She sent me the file for me to put together to make sure that all the parts fit and getting it right. And we were doing this from the morning all the way to the evening, and I really wanted her to get it right. So it was my pleasure to help her. That's what friends are for. Her daughter does have this SVG file of the mailbox in her shop, and I will link that in the description box below, as well as Ida's channel. Ida does have a process video or tutorial, if you will, and how to put this together, and it's fairly easy because I did it, as you can see here. Everybody's methods are going to be different in how they put this together, so I did mine a little bit differently than Ida did, but it's pretty much the same concept. And I want to share how I decorated it, and I will also be doing a process video and how to assemble this. So what I've done here is, I think on the next one that I put together, I will put a closure. This one doesn't have a closure, but I did hinge the lid, which you do not have to, but I went ahead and hinged it, and I hinged it with lace. So I glued some lace and I hinged it, so it opens and closes without, you know, the lid totally being removed. And then here on the top, there is a slot just like a mailbox. This also has a lid that I omitted. I did not add that extra lid, you know, that the mailbox has when you open and close to put your mail in. So I did not add this here, but what I did was I did add a pocket to the inside, as you can see here, so that the letters do not fall through because they are removable. So these are the letters, the mini envelopes, and I did try to create these with the mini punch board that Ida sent me. And because these images I do have, I have not listed them yet in my Etsy shop, but I do have these vintage images, and I couldn't get the measurements that are here to quite fit right on here, so I had to create my own template for that, which I did here. So I created my own template, but I did still use the punch board to cut out the notches for the envelope. And it does have a card in the inside as well, which is another vintage image, and I did back it up with chipboard. So there's two of those. Here's another one. And actually, I said chipboard, I meant poster board. I backed it up with poster board. And I also use poster board to put the box together. So the base part is poster board, and then the layering part, of course, is designer paper. I used the Prima Love Story design paper. Then here I used, and I also layered another piece on top. So it comes with the layering, it comes with the base, it comes with the layering parts, and then I also layered another piece of paper here that I, you know, manually cut. And of course I added the embellishments. So the back I did, you know, I just put the one layer that the file does come with. And so I did on the top, I just put the one layer that the file comes with, the SVG, and on the sides, and I double layered the box part on the side, and only on the two sides and the front. And this is a sticker, and so is this one, and these were gifted to me by my son's best friend's mom. She gifted me these stickers. Here's one of them. This is where the picture was, And it did have some flowers, but because the flowers that were on here, the colors don't coordinate with this, I added my own flowers there. And then it came with this bicycle, and again the basket that it had flowers didn't match the colors that I was, that I have here. So I layered it with flowers, with handmade flowers that I had created. And I made this one too. This is the Heartfelt Creation Ariana Blooms. This is a different dye that I bought overseas. And so is this leaf here. And this doily was from another dye that I have in my stash. I don't remember the name of the company. And then these are all my handmade flowers that I do have a tutorial on. Another handmade flowers. This is from the Heartfelt Creations Classic Rose, and this dye I got overseas. And then this butterfly is from Arila Miha shop on Etsy. She does digitals, and she has these beautiful butterflies. So I had purchased these a few years back. And then these I get from my local discount stores, these embellishments. And these flat back pearls are individual, and I glued them on here individually. What else? And this lace trim is right here. This was gifted to me by Ida, again, from Created to Create. These are vintage laces. She did gift me that. She also gifted me some eyelash trim. We did a one-on-one swap, and this is one of the gifts that she sent me. So I did use the eyelash trim. I gotta get me more of it because I absolutely love it. It's my first time using it, and I love the eyelash trim. Absolutely love it. So, and then I made these bows. This double bow, and this I have in my stash. And here's another one here, a double bow made out of seam binding, and another one of those embellishments that I have in my stash. I think that was it for that. And then here's another image that I do have that I have not released yet. So, and then this is a trim that I had bought a while ago. Don't remember where I got it, and I'm feeling a little sad because I only have a little bit left of that trim, and I absolutely love it. It's like a braid trim, and I love it, and I only have a tiny bit left, but I wanted to add it here. The colors went so well together here with this Prima Love Story paper line. So I think that's about it. And you see the pearl here, and these other embellishments. I think that was pretty much it. And I will show you how I did this pocket in case you want to do that as an option. If you want to put mini envelopes in there as opposed to putting that lid, that's on the mailbox. Please check out her video. She has a few videos on her mailbox, 'cause she did create quite a few of them, and she used different papers and she embellished it differently, and she does put that that extra piece that that opens and closes for the mailbox. So you may want to go ahead and see that, because I won't be adding it to the one that I will be creating here on camera that I will be putting together. I won't be adding that one there either, because I want to also add some, envelopes in there, like somebody's putting in envelopes, their letters in the mailbox. So that's pretty much it. So let's go on ahead and put the mailbox together. You have to cut this part out twice. This is the base. This is the bottom of the mailbox. And I did layer the layering pieces already, because when I first started it, originally I wanted to put this one together, completed and embellished. And because we were working on this all day, I was tired. And it was on Thursday, because Thursday was my birthday. and I was so tired that I didn't realize that I was already layering these parts, gluing the layers on this part. So I'm glad I caught it on time so that I can stop myself. And then I went ahead and completed the Shabby Chic one. So this one is going to be vintage. I will be using the Portrait of a Lady paper pad from Graphic 45. And these parts that I cut out was from the 12 by 12. This is the 8 by 8, and I will be using some of the cut out parts here for the decoration part, which I won't do on camera, but I will show you the finished box already decorated, because that's a little bit time consuming, especially since I'm already going to put this together on camera. So again, you will be cutting out 2 of these, and I did cut these out on poster board. And you see, this is the lid, and it's perforated here so that we can use it as a scoring line. And like I said, since we were working on this all day, some of the parts were too small. So what I've done with some of those parts, so that I don't lose paper, I'm just going to layer that on top as well. So this was one of the parts that was actually small, the lid. So I'm just using that as a layering part on top of that. So it does come with the layers. It comes with the base and it comes with the layers. And these are the sides for the lid. And these are the layering parts. I have two here because I will be cleaning off the inside as well. And this is the piece I will be using to create the pocket so the letters won't go all the way through, and I will give you those measurements as well. You're also going to need, which does not come in the file, and the reason why Ida didn't include that in the file is because she said depending on how a person puts it together, the measurements might be maybe a hair off, slightly off. So she omitted this in the file. The measurements are 5 3/8 by 4 1/2, and you will be scoring at 1/2 inch all the way around. So 1/2 inch this way, rotate your paper. 1/2 inch this way, rotate your paper again. You're going to do that to all 4 sides. And so that I don't forget, I already, you know, slit this and cut it in an angle. I did that so that I won't forget. So, and then you're just going to slice right up against the score line where it intersects here. Right up against that. You will be cutting on the score line in this little box area here. And then you will be cutting close, not beyond that other score line here. And then I will be cutting it in an angle so that when I close it, it closes easy. And I will be doing that here again. And here. Actually, I'm gonna do it this way. The poster board has a shiny side and a matte side. So I want to glue the matte side on the inside of the box. And I will I won't be gluing this yet. You know, I want to do I want to see if it fits first, but these are the measurements I got when I did the first box. So here you will add, I like to add my layers first, and the reason why I do that is because once the box is assembled, it's, you know, it's there's nothing here there's nothing solid underneath for me to press it down, because I do use wet glue. And even if you use double-sided tape, dry adhesive, you're still going to want to burnish that. So what I like to do is I like to put the layers first so that I can be able to burnish it like this without worrying about that, you know, the box is going to indent in, because I already have put it together. So that is my method of doing that, and that's the reason why I do that. I also have these layering parts. Oh, this is to the bottom of here. That's for the bottom of the box. I will be putting this here. I'm not going to add an extra layer here, because I'm going to actually put an image here that's dark, and if I put this layering piece here, it's going to wash it out. So I'm just going to add the side, and that was upside down, I think. Yeah. So make sure that if you have directional paper, that you're gluing it on the right way as well. Extra layering pieces that I'm adding here, that does not come in the file. I manually, you know, cut these out myself. But these layering parts do come with the file, and she words it as overlays. Okay, and I will be attaching these. And you want to line these up top to bottom, and they do match. They do match, and you want to glue it under the score line. You don't want to glue it on top of the score line. You want to, you know, butt it up against it, but not over it. And there you have it. Okay, so now I'm gonna make sure this is going to fit in here well. And it fits perfectly. So now I'm gonna glue the bottom part. Okay, now that we have the tray, as Ida would put it, together, what I should have done is put this here first before I even put this together. Well, let me go ahead and do that now anyway. That's going to be my front. Okay, it's going to be my front. And since the SVG does not come with the bottom part here, you are going to have to cut the overlay yourself as well. I did leave a border on mine. I like to make sure that I adhere this side first, since I'm using wet glue. I don't want it to move around and get misaligned. Okay, so there we have it. Alright, so I'm going to just add glue to this part, and okay, I'm going to add glue to the left side, the back, and the right side. And I will be placing this inside the score line from this side here and inside the score line from this side here. And I'm placing it just above the curves here so that it won't show on the outside of the box. And since I already add glue here, I'm just going to go ahead and close this and this part. And it fits perfectly. So the measurements again for the box is, and you want to make sure that this is also aligned on the side here where the curves is, just above it. Make sure the tray is just above that. And this on the other side as well. Somebody's ringing my bell. So that was my mailman, and so I wanted to flip this, you know, over so that I can press the glue, and look how nice that looks in the inside. We still got to do this one, but I found doing it this way as opposed to putting the box together and then sliding the tray under, especially with wet glue, because if I try to do this with wet glue, sliding it under after I put all of this, you know, together like that, and you know, this being adhered here already, my concern is that I'm going to just smudge glue, wet glue here, and then if I do it with double-sided tape, it's probably going to stick before I even get to push this in, and I might not get it aligned this way. I know Ida did it that way and she did an amazing job, but I'm just a little bit more, that's a little bit intimidating for me. So I found this a lot more easier. So I'm just going to add some glue here. And on the side here, because we're going to close this bad boy. And I think that's a little bit too much glue. Okay. And now I get to align this really well. So I'm making sure the bottom is adhered and the side is adhered. And there you have it. This part is already complete. Now we're going to do the top. And I did say that I do want to add a closure to this one. I do want to do that. Let's see if I remember though, because I say things and then I don't remember. Okay, so let's do the lid. Again, what I like to do is I like to layer, especially the top, I like to layer this first. And since I'm going to add wet glue, well, since we're going to form this, you know, like this, wet glue, I believe, is the perfect glue to use here, because the glue will also conform in that way. And since glue dries stiff, it'll leave it nice and curved this way. That's why I like using wet glue for this, especially for this part. And I will be using this big fat candle because this is what I used for the other lid, you know, to round this part. And it doesn't leave creases because it's nice and, you know, it's kind of fat here. It has some girth, so it won't leave the creases. And actually before I do that, we do have to cut out notches here. So here is the score line. Since she created this with the Brother Scan and Cut, they don't have, the one that we have does not have a scoring tool. So the machine cuts little slits. You know, like if you were gonna perforate it, so it cuts little slits, and those are our scoring lines. So you're gonna fold those and crease it, and then we're gonna cut little triangles very close to the score line, not over it, because and then of course you're gonna cut it off. You know, cut off this thing that we need. So just gonna do this to both sides. And I find that the smaller you do it, the better you get a shape. You get a much better shape the smaller you cut it. And I will go ahead and do the other side off camera, because this is tedious to watch. So I just wanted to show you how small, like, you know, I did mine. Okay. All right, so now I am going to layer my pieces. You want to make sure you get especially this part here, so you don't want this lifting. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and roll this on here. And since this is wet glue, the papers are gonna shift as well. And that's what causes the paper to also stay. And there are no wrinkles in doing this because I'm not using anything too thin to roll it. I'm using something that, you know, that's kind of fat, since this is not going to be a thin dome. You don't want to roll this with anything that's too thin. And you also want to press here too. And here you have your dome. Look how nice. Okay, now it does come with sides, and it does come with these layering parts. I'm actually going to glue these after, and I have a template here that I just traced on the, because I am going to glue another one of these in the inside like that. You know, to clean it off, because once you layer this on top, you're going to have that showing. So I did cut out another piece to put it inside like this. And I just traced it around it and just cut it. You know, I just fussy cut it. I didn't have the machine cut out an extra one, because then it would have cut out another extra one of these. Alright, so now we're going to glue these into place. Okay, so I'm going to be using double-sided tape for this part, which I should have added it before I curved it. I'm adding it just below the score line. I'll be doing it to both sides, and I'm also going to do it to the edge here. Actually, no, I don't need to do that because I'm going to cover it from the inside. I'm just burnishing it with my fingers. And I'm going to start with the front first. So I'm just gluing it just against the score line. And look how quick and easy this was to put together. Ooh. Okay. Just that simple and easy, right? Let's do the other side. I'm going to start again with the front so that everything coincides. And there we go. Okay. I gotta push this one up and press. And then press this one. Okay, there we go. There we have it. Look at that. It falls into place really nicely. Very nice. Okay. And the last thing, you know, well, these parts go here. This gets layered here, of course, on the other side. And then the inside, to cover that, to cover those cuts, that's where these pieces come in, which I just cut manually. Like I said, I used the template and just cut it out. I'm going to put the pocket together. So we'll do that right now before we continue on, because we do have to add that lip here. So this piece here measures about 5 1/4 by 2 inches. And then you're going to score at a 1/2 inch on only 3 sides. So you will score a 1/2 inch here, rotate a 1/2 inch here, rotate, and a 1/2 inch here. That's it, only on 3 sides. Then you're going to cut, there's a square here from when you did the score. You're going to cut those off right on this, you know, right where the score line is, and I am going to angle this one and a little bit here, just a little bit. And you're going to do the same thing here. You cut off the square. I'm doing this way because I normally would just go ahead and just angle it automatically, but since I can't barely see the score lines, so I doubt you can see them. So I'm just doing it like that so that, you know, as a guide, okay? And then, of course, you're going to fold in crease. And I'm going to put these in the inside as opposed to the outside. And I'm just going to add some glue to that so that they can stay. They will stay. And then you're just gonna add this here. You're gonna add the part that's folded in like this will go here on the edge, because the pocket is in here, as you can see there. You see that? You see how I'm moving that in there, in and out? That's the pocket. So you want to make sure that the fold part is this way. And we're just going to add glue. And I'm just going to add glue to this bottom part. I'm not going to add glue all the way up there. And definitely this whole bottom part. And a little bit up here too. Because I don't want this to glue down all the way against here. Because I want to be able to see this from the inside. So we want it to stick up a little bit. Okay, so we want this to be able to see. We want to be able to stick up a little bit so you can see it in here. So when you put in your letters, you won't struggle to find that. It's right there. And it'll keep that from going all the way in or falling inside the box. So that's how I achieved that. So to create the inside part, I did mine in 2 parts because the paper that I used wasn't long enough, and even a 12 by 12 is not long enough to go all around here. The trick to achieving, if you want a long piece without having to cut, you would have to use poster board. And I believe that's what I'm going to use here. This one I did not use poster board. I used an 8.5 by 11 sheet of 110 pound cardstock to do this one with. But I think I am going to do the poster board with this one because it is long enough for me to just do 1 strip. So here I cut out a strip of, I did a long strip. I measured in here. And I just cut it longer than what I measured the circumference of the box. And what I also did was I covered it in the designer paper. It wasn't enough, so I had to add a smaller piece here. From here to here was an extra piece because it wasn't long enough. So this was a 12 by 12, and as you can see, that didn't cover, you know, the whole thing here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch on one end. Which side am I gonna use? I think I'll use this side. Or I'm just gonna pinch one end, and I want it to do it the same, you know, paper here, to keep it nice and uniform. And then I'm just gonna place it here. I'm actually gonna bring this inside, and this piece inside, and that piece inside. Okay, so I already pinched it here, and I'm gonna bring this part here and pinch it again. So now I have that side. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm going to do that to all the 4 sides, or the 3 remaining sides. And I'm going to bring it forward here. Pinch that. And one last time. And pinch that. Okay. That didn't close. I didn't butt the paper close enough. That's all right. And it goes all the way around. And I just pinched it anyway. I didn't even know it was going to fall right at the last part. It was going to fall right at the edge. That was a fluke. That wasn't planned. So if you want this measurement, this entire measurement is Look at that, 16 and a half. And I didn't even measure because I believe it was 15 and a half, the circumference of this. And I just said, okay, I'll just make it a little longer without actually sizing it. And I just cut it off, you know, after the 15 and a half. So it's exactly 16 and a half. And where I folded it in the start of it is 1 1/8. 1/8. So I folded it at 1/8. If you want to get it exactly where this ends right at the corner, right here in the corner. So that's the measurement for that. And I do see a pencil line because I did have to oh, and by the way, the width of this is 1 inch. That's all. Just 1 inch. Alright, so I'm only going to glue not even half of this width here. I'm just going to glue just below the half. I did the same step as well when she assembled the box. She did the same step, but she did hers in 2 parts. Now I'm going to lift this up because I do want it even. And I guess this will be my back and this will be my front. Oh, and I did, you know, you need to put glue up here as well because you want to adhere it to this side. Okay, and there it is. And then you put your lid on. Look how nice. And then put this one all the way in. Look at that. Look how nice. I love this SVG, Ida. And I get to use it again. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad that she did this because I learned from her. As you know, those that have been following me know that I have an armoire, a 3D armoire that I created for her. And I still haven't done the kids, but now I can convert it into an SVG file. Her daughter will show me how to convert it into an SVG file so that you guys will be able to cut it out as opposed to do it cutting it out manually, or just, you know, getting the full kits from me. So those who don't have machines can get the kits, and those who have the machines, if they want to assemble it, you know, if they want to cut it out themselves and use, you know, their own paper, they can. So I'm so glad you did it, Ida. I'm so glad. Oh my goodness, I love it. So I will be showing in another video this completed and decorated. For now, this is it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for those who stayed to watch. And please support her daughter, Abby, who sells the SVG in her shop. Again, that is linked in the description box below. She is a single mom, and, you know, I also want to help her as much as I can. So please, you know, show her some support. With that being said, all is well. Let's share, be fair, be filled with love, and love one another. Take good care, everybody.